Hi, my name is Lexi. Welcome back to my channel. Okay, so this week's update is coming after the week that I hit my goal weight. I'm going to talk about how the week after went. And as I mentioned in the last video, I went on a little staycation here in town with my family last weekend, so I did not do a full day fast on Friday. I was planning on fasting till about 3 in the afternoon, and I ended up going till about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And it was kind of a reminder to me why I actually really enjoy doing full day fasts versus like time restricted feeding or OMAD, having an eating window every day. Because something about just like mentally when I'm anticipating eating that day, I just really kind of fixate on it. That's how it's been in the past. I don't know if that would change if I did it like long term, if I gave it more of a chance, but honestly, at this point, I'm just like, this is working for me, and I know that. So I really just have decided to kind of keep going with what I'm doing because I think it's what works for me. So anyway, so on Friday, I weighed myself at 1 o'clock before I broke my fast, and I was at 176.0. So keep in mind, now my last weigh-in, my lowest weight was 174.1, Saturday, June 20th. So had I continued to fast, going forward, I would have definitely at least gotten into the 174 point something range. I'm pretty sure, because I have, experimented with weighing myself multiple times during the day, and I kind of know how I lose over time. So I don't know if I would have gotten all the way back down to my goal weight, I think I would have for sure gotten down to my goal weight, which is 175. But I don't know if I would have gotten back down to my low weight. It's hard to say. But I also wanted to share with you just kind of my daily weigh-ins, just to help people. I think it's difficult when you don't weigh in every day, just to know how that works. And I do weigh in every day. I've talked about this before. I think it gives me a better picture of what's happening over time and just fluctuations and noticing that. So this Monday, or last Monday, the 22nd, I weighed in at 179.5. And that was actually the first time that I've ever weighed in the 170s on a Monday. So that was pretty exciting. The last week before that, which was the week that I hit my goal weight, I was at 182.6. So the last Monday to the Monday previous was 179.5 to 182.6. So that was about a 3-pound drop from the week before. Tuesday, the 23rd, I was at 176.5. So that was coming down from Monday. Mondays are always my highest weight. And then the Tuesday before that, I was at 179.4. So we're still like 3 pounds down from the previous week. So then Wednesday, the 24th, I was at 177.3. And the Wednesday before that, I was at 180.5. Thursday, I was down to 175.1. And then the Thursday before that, I was at 177.1. Now I have to mention that this Thursday, the Thursday where I was at 177.1, that was the day that I did the partial egg fast. So where I ate eggs for lunch and dinner. So the day after that, you're going to see that week I actually lost weight instead of gained weight. Whereas this last week, I just ate normally. Okay, so I know this is all going to be a lot of numbers. I don't even know if you're going to follow all of this. But Thursday, I was at 176.8. Last Thursday, the 26th of June. And the previous Thursday, I was at 177. So you can see that these are now like closer together because of that, the egg fast that I did the week before. Okay, so then Thursday I was at 176.8. Friday I was at 180.0. And the Friday before that I was, oh, you know what? I'm sorry. Okay. No. So 176.8 was Friday. 177 was Friday as well. So sorry, you're probably going to be so confused right now. But anyway, so last Friday morning was 176.8. And then in the afternoon at 1 o'clock was when I weighed myself and I was 176. Okay, so from the morning to 1 o'clock, I lost 0.8 pounds. And then the Friday before that, I was at 177. That was the day before I hit my goal weight and my low of 174.1. So all that just to say that those are kind of how my weights fluctuate, and I've really gotten quite used to it. It's still, you know, it's not fun when the scales go up, and it feels good when they go down. That is still true for me, but I do find that it's easier for me to kind of just deal with those fluctuations. And also it helps to weigh a lot, because if I had just weighed myself on Friday before I left and I was like, I'm 176, I'm 2 pounds up, I gained 2 pounds. But really it's just because I did not give myself that full day fast. Also, I was starting my cycle, so that could have played into it. But, you know, just noticing all of these different factors and calculating how it all works out in the long run, I think is very, very helpful. Anyway, I'm sorry if that was totally confusing, but I hope it helped someone, or at least you can see that there are a lot of different numbers happening. Okay, so I also just wanted to talk about how I sort of anticipate special events and vacations. So this coming week, I am leaving, going out of town to California. I will be fasting this week, Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday. My normal days are Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. The reason being that we're leaving on Friday and I didn't want to fast while we were traveling. It's going to be about a 10-hour drive. I've got 4 kids in the van with me. And so I just want to give myself that option to eat with everybody. When we get there, it's going to be my dad's birthday. So I don't know if they're going to want to do a little bit of a mini celebration. We are doing like a full celebration on Sunday because there are a lot of birthdays that we're celebrating. But anyways, so then the following week, I will only be fasting on Friday. So I'm skipping 2 fasting days and I will have 6 eating days in a row, which I've never done before. That's the most I've ever skipped and the most eating days I've ever had in a row. Now, I was thinking back to like in the beginning of my journey, like what I would have done. And I have, since the beginning, I have taken fasting days off. Typically, I've taken about 1 fasting day off a month, just depending on what's going on. And you can totally do that and it's fine. What I would say about like choosing whether to take days off or just to alter your schedule is you kind of want to like pull back and take an aerial view and say, okay, like how many days am I really taking off and how many days am I fasting and how is it affecting my progress? And it's okay if your progress slows down a little bit because you're living your life and you want to definitely incorporate those special events and vacations. But you just kind of you really want to be honest with yourself is what it comes down to, is you want to look at how many days am I really skipping here? Am I following my plan the way I want to? And am I seeing the results that I want to see? Am I making progress or am I like slowing? I mean, it's okay if you slow down, but if you're just like stopping yourself because you're kind of allowing yourself too much freedom, then that's something you want to be paying attention to. And I just think that there's definitely something to the fact that you you want to be a little more regimented in the beginning to allow yourself to establish those habits. And then once you get further down the road, you can play with it a little more. And so what I would have done, I think that if I was having this vacation back in the beginning of my journey, is I would have done exactly what I was doing this week, fasting Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday. And then the following week, next week, what I would have done is two things. I would have either went ahead and fasted on Wednesday when I was traveling home, or I would have just fasted on Thursday and Saturday of next week and still had 2 fasting days. So basically, I would only be skipping 1 fasting day still. Now, yes, I would have more eating days in a row, and I would definitely still see a gain on the scale, but it all kind of works out in the end, and you just want to look at the big picture of how much you're fasting, and you really just have to expect that gain on the scale and know that it will come down. It'll take a little bit, may take a couple weeks, 3 weeks. It really just depends on what's going on in your body and how much you've healed, that insulin resistance and stuff. So, and you can totally follow along on my journey to see what happens after 6 days of eating. I'm going to be up on the scale. I totally anticipate it. Am I going to like it? No, but it's okay. Like, I'll just get right back into it. And the other thing I wanted to mention was the last time I went out of town, I had told you guys that what I did was I fasted 2 days in a row before I left and 2 days in a row when I came back. I decided after that experience that I'm not going to do that anymore because I just don't, and it's not that I'll never do longer fasts, and I'm going to do a whole video on extended fasting and just kind of my thoughts on that. I don't consider a 60-hour fast necessarily an extended fast, but it is quite a bit longer than my normal fast. And I don't like doing it before and after a vacation. I think because just the way that, jumping from a longer fast into vacation eating, and then also jumping into a longer fast after vacation, right after vacation eating. And by vacation eating, I mean eating more than usual, higher sugar, higher carb, all that stuff. I think it's just much more unpleasant to do it that way. So if I'm ever going to do a longer fast, it's not going to be because of a vacation. It's not going to be because I'm trying to punish myself. Not at all. In fact, I don't even want to do longer fasts for weight loss at all. And I will definitely go into another video. But longer fasts for me are for healing benefits, and I don't want to lose sight of that fact. That's sort of how I feel about it. But so I'm not going to do that again. I'm just going to either change my schedule or, I'll just know that I'll make it up eventually. So those are my thoughts. Let me know what you have done when you go on vacation. Now, you could totally do other things. You could switch up your schedule to be more of like an OMAD or just a shorter eating window when you're on vacation. If you don't want to change your fasting schedule, you could totally do that. As I mentioned before, that doesn't really work for me very well. I don't like it as much, but it is totally an option, and some people absolutely love that option. So you do what works best for you. And just like I said, you kind of want to take a step back and be honest with yourself about what's going on, what you want, and how you're going to accomplish those goals. And yeah, so I know this was a completely random, kind of all over the place video. If you found any value in it, go ahead and give it a like. And I am so grateful for all of you for being here with me on this journey. Hope you're doing well, and I will see you next time. And next time will be my update right before I go on my vacation. So I'm going to I'm going to film earlier. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my regular video. I'm going to be sharing a book review. I'm super excited about it. And I'm just going to put my weight update in the description next time because I won't be able to weigh in before filming. So yeah, too many details. I'll talk to you guys next time. Thanks. Bye-bye.